So here's what those key spring-summer 2025 bag trends are. And I'm going to show you a few pieces from my collection that maybe mean that I might be on trend this year. Who knows? Hello, and the warmest of welcomes to today's video. For those of you who haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Nick, fab to have you here. For those of you who haven't seen my face before, for those who have seen my face before, thank you so much for joining me again. Hope you enjoy my videos. I put out videos roughly 2 to 3 times a week on a range of different topics, anywhere from fashion, slightly more personal topics. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please do head down, hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I love chatting with you all. I'm all about living life loud, and what that means to me is being your authentic self, being proud to be you, and just celebrating who you are. Celebrating yourself and, of course, celebrating others. So, I'm sorry, another video where I am wearing a hat. It is getting to the point that I need to get my hair cut. Also, I ran out the house this morning and I've come back and I thought I'm not gonna attempt to make my hair presentable to film. So, what I wanted to talk about today was that I saw an article, I'm a little late to this party, but I saw an article the other day that was from British Vogue, and it is the key spring-summer 2025 bag trends to know now, is what it's called. I will link it below. It was released on the 9th of February, so I am a little bit late to this, but I think we can still get on board if we want to. And what I was going to do was share with you what those key trends are, some of the pieces that they're picking out that signify that trend, and also me show you a couple of pieces from my collection that I think potentially fit the bill, and you let me know what you think. I would also love to know if you have any pieces in your collection that are working really well for these particular trends. I am very rarely on trend. I would say I don't try to be on trend. There seems to be a bit of a happy accident though this time where I seem to be, a little bit on trend, so I'm okay with that. So, I also love the fact that they have used the word capacious in this. Across all the bag trends to emerge from spring-summer 2025 shows, practicality reigned supreme. Scaled-down mini bags were usurped by capacious totes that came in various shapes, fabrications and colorways, including several with belted detailing. Capacious! Great word, Poppy. Love it. Right, let's look at this. So the first one that they are talking about is the Dr. Holdall. So they are referring to pieces from Miu Miu, The Row, Jill Sander, Louis Vuitton. So I know a Louis Vuitton piece that is being... There's that Louis Vuitton piece that I will try and remember the name of, that I will insert a visual of or a reference to, but they've also mentioned the Miu Miu leather bow bag, the Totem T-lock top handle bag, the Row India leather bag, Pollen texture top handle bag. So you've got pieces here that are fitting that trend that are ranging from the mid-hundreds in pounds up to, multiple thousand. The piece that I have that I think signifies this trend or is a part of this trend is a vintage piece. It is this Celine Doctor bag. This, if I had to buy it again today, I can't even imagine what it would cost. The leather is stunning. It's a beautiful, beautiful bag. I can't even imagine what this would cost if I had to replace it today. Brand new. So luckily I don't have to. So great piece, very capacious, beautiful, understated, fabulous bag. So this is that one for me. Yeah, so I think it's very much about functionality. So those Doctor style holdalls are all about functionality. Rectangular with sort of curved edges is what we're seeing a lot of. I think that fits the bill. Next up, I don't personally have something that falls into this, but East-West. We've been seeing East-West pieces for a long time, emerging. So for example, a big piece to take on this trend, was it last year, was the East-West Pochette Matisse. That was quite a big change, I think, from the Pochette Matisse that we've become so familiar with. They brought out an East-West version, East-West totes versus North-South totes. That's been something that's been going on for quite a long time. So I wouldn't say this one's particularly new, but a lot of brands do very much seem to have embraced it. And again, I think Miu Miu has been in on this. Alaya has been in on this. Parenza Scula they've referenced. Prada, COS. So there you go, a very affordable brand there with COS. So the East West bowling bag for £125. And then of course, they've got it referenced as a vintage piece, but the Birkin shoulder bags, very much East-West, very much East-West. So that's one to think about as well. They've got one here that they have referenced for £5,998 on eBay. Feels like a good price. Feels like a good price. So there we go. That is East-West. And that can be done as totes, shoulder bags, clutches. You know, there are so many ways to purchase an East-West piece and to be a part of the East-West trend. So definitely take a look. The next one is soft to touch, and this is very much about texture, and this seems to be all about suede. So they have referenced multiple pieces that can be made in suede. So the Kate Lotus suede bag, the Row India in suede, Arquette curved suede bag, Loewe pebble bag, which is in suede. But that is the suede pieces around being sort of very soft to the touch, and the fact that they mark an age is seen as part of their charm, and is part of the appeal of them. I have a suede bag, fairly recently purchased this, my Gucci Dionysus in suede, love it, think it's gorgeous. So this is very much on the trend, and I am happy about that. Next up, we are continuing with kind of capacity, and we're continuing with capacity, but we're bringing something in that's a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more casual. And whereas we talked about the doctor bags earlier, some of those can be very slouchy, but some of them can be that little bit more rigid. What they are talking about here is slouch silhouettes. So a slouch silhouette is something that it can be very relaxed, something that can sag and almost like drop over time. You can almost imagine scrunching it up under your arm and walking with it, whether it's intended to be worn in that way or not. And they have referenced here the Balenciaga Rodeo, the JW Anderson loafer bag, the Pollen Numero 9 Mini, the Massimo Dutti braided Napa leather bag, the Bottega Veneta Andiamo. A piece that for me could fall into this category. I don't have much in sort of the slouch, but a piece that could probably fall into that for me would maybe be something like this, which would be a Bayswater. So this is a slightly more unstructured Bayswater. You can get very structured Bayswaters. This one, as you can see over time, has very much slouched, has very much changed. You could very easily fit it into that kind of trend, I think, because it's a more collapsed version of the bag. And has it been made with the intention of being this slouchy? I don't think so, but I think it is one of the things that happens to this particular type of Bayswater as time goes on, and I really enjoy that about it. So this could maybe, I may be pushing it a little bit by including this, but this one could work. I do also think that my Celine Doctor bag could work in here, and who knows? Could this be a part of that? It's probably a bit too structured, isn't it? But maybe, I don't know. I don't know, but whilst I've got this one out, embrace colour. So they reference here about the fact that neutral accessories are often very prominent on a runway. However, we are seeing very bright, colourful pieces walking the runways. So bright red, yellow, pastels, these types of colours are really having a moment at the moment. And it's funny, when I unboxed this, someone mentioned to me, oh, yellow is very in. And I thought, thank goodness, I'm finally on trend. And here it is confirmed. I also have my Prada top handle in that beautiful yellow. But if we're embracing colour, we can go even further, because we can go for bright orange. If they're going for bright red, why not? We've got these great shades of green. We've also got a way of being able to be neutral and colourful all at the same time with pieces like this coral trim, strawberry trim with the neutral canvas. So this could potentially be something there as well. Great way of adding a little bit of spice. They have referenced the Bottega Veneta Liberta bag, which is in a yellow, the Ferragamo Hug, which is in this very bright red. I do not like red, as you know. This actually is really quite eye-catching. Then you have the Alaya Leteco medium bag, which is in this beautiful cool shade of blue. The Dragon Diffusion Rosanna Small, which is in a very pretty shade of pastel pink. Some really, really lovely pieces. Next up, we can talk about snake print. Snake print is a hot print right now. I personally love snake print. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And I think as an exotic, snake skin is a really interesting, python is a really interesting exotic. A lot of people are put off by it, I think, because over time the scales can lift and that can be off-putting to some. I understand that, but I do think it's gorgeous. And I think if you're able to get a piece in a mock exotic, a snake print without it being actually python, that could be a really nice compromise. Very, very pretty. And snake print can be done in a very neutral palette. It can be done in a much bolder palette. So there's also a little bit of variation there, and there are options there for you dependent on what it is that you are looking for. Here they have referenced a piece from Kate with the Kate Snake Effect leather tote, Dries Van Noten with their leather shoulder bag, COS, Jacquemus, Prada, Caperni. So again, those price points are really varied, and that means that anyone can buy into these trends, and I love that. I'm certainly not going to be spending £3,300 on the Prada Ayers clutch. However, would I maybe be more tempted by the Caperni Belt Snake Effect leather shoulder bag for £750? Sure, that feels more reasonable to me. So especially if you're buying into a trend. Some people love to buy trend. They love to have what's most current. They love to have what's hot. They love to have what's in style at that moment. I'm personally someone who, if it's a trend that I can see suiting me and my wardrobe for the foreseeable future, fine. I'm happy if I happen to coincide with what the trend is and when it's hot. However, I also have no issue being behind the trend if it doesn't really work out for me that way. So yeah, it's all about what works for you. I personally don't have anything that's snake print. So yeah, I haven't got into that one yet. However, would I be very open to it? Yes. Do I look at pieces every so often? Yes. I talk about the fact that a regret of mine was not buying a Celine Phantom in white python that I saw on Hardly Ever Worn It, probably about 3 years ago, but it was too expensive at the time for me, and I passed up on it, and I wish I hadn't, because I think that would have been a great piece. So there we go. And the last trend that is worth looking at, apparently according to British Vogue here, is a belted style. So they opened this section of the article by referring to the Prada's belt bag, which was really, really popular last year for autumn winter, and the fact that that has continued into this year, and we have seen other brands taking that on. So you very much do start with that Prada buckle piece. It's an expensive bag. It's, you know, £4,500-ish, £4.5, £5 depending on the size that you're buying it. But they refer to pieces here from Totem, Parenza Scula, Arquette, The Row, Hermes. So they are putting the Margot into that belted style. The Birkin would be in that belted style. So I'm sure the Kelly would be in that belted style. A piece that I really love in the belted style as well is the Moschino tie bag. I think that's great. Comes in multiple sizes, multiple textures, great price point. Moschino's a really fun brand. I think it's a really beautiful piece. So that's definitely one to look at, one that I've been thinking about, not because it's on trend, just because it's one of the pieces from Moschino that I've seen in recent years that's really captured me. I feel like they've lost their way a bit since Jeremy Scott left the brand, but it's nice to see them bringing in some pieces that have a bit of an identity to them and still capture some of what made the brand so iconic, I think. So that's good to see. And I have made it up because there is actually one more trend. And the last trend is craftcore. So this is saying crafted fabrications like woven leather, raffia and crochet received a contemporary update in the spring collections. So Bottega Veneta will do very well out of this. any brand that makes pieces in raffia, wicker, something along those lines. I mentioned Dragon Diffusion earlier, which people have likened to the sort of look of Bottega, could be another one. Anything that, yeah, feels that little bit more woven, natural fibre, natural texture. I don't know if something like this counts in that, because this has a similar feel in my mind, but I might be wrong there, so you let me know what you think of that. But I think there are a lot of amazing pieces out there, and if you are someone who invested in, for example, the wicker Lady Dior's in years gone by, the wicker Capucines that has been made for the past few years, if you have bought raffia pieces over the years, then this trend is for you. Those Prada beach bags, that very much, I think this is a bit of a standing trend year in, year out, and understandably so. It fits the season perfectly, but it's nice to see that these items are being shown on the runway. They have referred to a lyre in this, so the one-piece medium paper straw shoulder bag, the Jacquemus Bambola asymmetric faux raffia tote, Loewe, the Row, Kate. So they've referred to some really nice pieces there, but what's nice with this trend as well is you can see, you know, if they're talking about woven, June, as an example, have done a couple of really nice woven leather pieces recently, or sort of faux leather. I'll check if they're leather or faux leather and I'll insert it here. But that's a really reasonable price point from a high street brand, very accessible, and the quality is good, so it would stand you in good stead. And if you are someone who wants to use pieces seasonally, if you buy the right ones and they are going to last you, if you're only using them for 2-3 months of the year, that should hopefully see them last you year after year after year, and stand you in really good stead for this trend to re-emerge in years to come. So there we have it, everyone. That is just a quick rundown of what's, you know, on trend at the moment, or what is predicted to be on trend for the spring summer season, what walked some of the runways. Hopefully this was a little bit of fun. It's always good, I think, to just check in on where the trends are, what we can potentially expect to see in stores, because if there's nothing that's on trend that you think is going to float your boat, find your way to an outlet or something along those lines, because that's where you're going to see past seasons pieces. So if you're still in the mood to shop, but not on trend, you can always look at an outlet. Whereas if some of these trends really light your fire, then make sure that you go and check them out in store, whichever brand it is that you are choosing to purchase from. Thank you so much as always for watching. I look forward to seeing my next video. Take care, everyone. Bye now. Mwah.